Okay, let's get started. If you'll all please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay, let's get started with the roll call. Alderman Smith.
Present.
Alderman Quinn.
Present.
Alderman Snyder.
Present.
Alderman Saunders.
Present.
Alderman Simpson.
Present.
Alderman Osborne.
Present.
We have a quorum. We shall proceed. Okay, first thing we have on the agenda is to review and approve the minutes of the December 18th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Aldermen, found under tab 4.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 18th, 2025.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the meeting minutes from December 18th of 2025. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the minutes of the meeting of December 18th, 2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Okay, next thing on the agenda will be the mayor's report. I'll try to make it quick. We currently are in the process of sending out a RFQ for the airport consultant. That's just another way of saying engineering. There are grants available to help with the maintenance and upkeep of the airport. That RFQ will be due back by interested parties on February 13th of 2026. We currently have a RFQ out and in process for the electrical engineering services. That RFQ should be all the responses in by the 16th of 2026, at which time we'll have to review those. We're continuing to work on policy and process. One of those issues will be tonight. We'll be talking about committee responsibilities. We'll get to that later on in the agenda. That completes my report. Next thing on the agenda will be the city clerk's report.
I don't know that I really have anything to add other than what's there inside the packet for you. Do you have any questions or anything?
So the wetland inventory is done?
I'm sorry.
The wetland inventory is done?
Yeah, I've got the spreadsheet back on that yet on it to kind of identify who needs to be replaced. It's not closed out or anything.
Right, but I mean, the work is done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the most part.
okay.
Is there anything you're needing for the audit?
I'm waiting to hear back from UMB Bank on some of the bonds. They need some information on bonds, and after I hear from them, that'll be everything.
Will the thing come on site tonight? Will they be on site after that?
Will they be on site? No, they're down on site.
Are they on site?
After they get this, they get finalized everything else.
Have it,
Do we have an ETA?
completion date? You
I
guys-
would say maybe into February.
Ooh, that's positive.
Wait,
Where do you?
Okay, next thing on the agenda will be city attorney's report.
I have no report at this time.
Next thing is authorized guest speakers. There are none. Moving right along to new business. First thing is going to be, we were asked to do this. This is called the Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month for February of 2026. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Ronald E. Miller, Mayor of the City of Monroe City, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2026 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month throughout the City of Monroe City, Missouri, to work towards ending teen dating violence by empowering young people to develop healthier relationships, assisting victims in accessing the information and supportive services they need, creating better and more resources for young people in need, instituting effective intervention and prevention policies in schools, and engaging in discussions with family members and peers to promote awareness and prevention of the quiet of teen dating violence, and reaffirm the City of Monroe City's commitment to end domestic violence in our community. Okay, next thing on the agenda, you were provided a document which attempts to outline committee responsibilities, in particular for the administration committee and the operations committee, and then a committee of the whole.
Was in the packet.
No. I don't see it.
Wonder why not? Well, we need to resolve that little issue, don't we? Okay, I'm gonna go make copies.
I can run down and get one real quick.
Okay. Not without the city clerk here to take minutes. And here. Give you a couple of minutes to go over what you've been given. Did you get that? Mhm. Okay, so administration committee, what we're the tentative reports, council rule of procedures protocol, administrative services, finance, financial planning, fiscal policies, human resources, information technology, community relations, communications, economic development, legal services, risk management, and city facilities. Those of you who are on the administration committee, do you have any suggestions or recommendations on changes for this is as it's stated? Operations committee would be public works facilities, electric, gas, water, sewer, traffic signals, and signs. Now, what happens is historically we have public works and we have public safety. So, in order to try to reduce the total number of committees and the total number of meetings that board members are required to go to, last year we combined the public safety committee and the public works together into one committee, which will handle all of the activities previously handled by the individual two committees. So we have public works, facilities, electric, gas, water, sewer, traffic signal, signs, infrastructure planning, right-of-way management, streets and sidewalks, police services, traffic enforcement, school crossing guards, public safety facilities, public safety planning, and emergency management. For those of you who were previously on public safety and or board members previously on public works, do you see anything that needs to be modified or changed?
I have a question.
Yes.
Nuisance, is that still kind of a standing alone committee? I mean, John and Zach and Philip, is that a committee or is it just a working?
It's just board members.
Okay.
It's just board members. There's been several different iterations over the years. We have separate committees for the airport. We have separate committees for parks and recreations, and we have the nuisance and nuisance board, and we have planning and zoning. So we have several committees that handle very specific areas. Historically, when these two committees were made up of board members, it allowed those board members to determine process or policy, and then they would decide what actions they were going to recommend to the board of the whole, so that when we got into the meetings like this one, they had done the legwork, did all the background work, had developed a very detailed recommendation for the board of the whole to consider. So it's to help streamline the process, and it's worked very, very well historically, and we expect it will continue to do so in the future. And what we wanted to do by putting this into a policy that, when we get done with this, the plan would be to make a motion to accept this policy. The board would vote on it, and if they accept it, this will become policy, and it'll be documented, and it'll go into our policy manual and be utilized in the future as a reference. Now, committee. Any issues with those of you who are on the operations committee? Okay, so committee of the whole, budget coordination, which we've had annual budget meetings, capital improvement programs, which makes sense, just general planning and coordination of the activities of the city, the review of issues proposals involving more than one council committee, because there will be times that the subjects that you discuss will overlap, particularly in the areas of employees, where performance issues, when you do annual reviews, and then the continuation of that, then we go to administration, who handles finance, financial planning, and fiscal policy. There's always going to be a little bit of overlap, but I think it can be managed. And then review of issues of exceptional nature, which happen from time to time. Issues referred by the mayor or a standing council committee or a council majority. And also our ordinance allows any two aldermen to call special meetings. So this doesn't change any of that. This is merely policy. It doesn't override or supersede any of our Monroe City Code. Questions?
No, just refresher though, the administrative committee is myself, Lori, Greg, and Adrian, correct?
That's correct.
And then operations is Mike, Jason, Adrian, and Greg.
Right, and those, those are, as you all know, what happens,
Well, that'd be
excuse me?
fine. Is there five?
No, it's four. No, it's four.
Great. Great. No?
I'm not sure, I don't think so.
Okay, sorry, maybe it was Mike.
Anyway, annually, typically after the election, what happens is the mayor makes a determination of the committee recommendations, gives them to the board approves it. Pretty simple. So, if,
I'm sorry. Keep it. But when the committees meet, could all of the council members be informed so that in case we want to come?
absolutely.
Yeah, because
We
sometimes we
typically,
don't all get the agenda.
I think it's been practice to publish that agenda and send it to everyone.
Okay.
If not,
No,
then okay. So we'll do that from now on.
thank you.
We'll do that from now on. And oh, by the way, all aldermen are obviously allowed to attend any committee meeting. Okay? It's like when we had this week, it turned out really, really well. So what we would need to do, we would have to have a motion to approve these guidelines or policy.
I'll make a motion to approve the policy for the committee.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this document defining the areas of responsibility and general guidance for committees. All in favor say aye.
Uh,
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Thank you very much. I think that will help us going forward and hopefully can be utilized by future boards. All right. What'd you do? Excuse me. Okay, next thing we have on the agenda will be council committee reports, starting out with planning and zoning.
We did not have any plans on anybody.
Okay. Parks and Recreation, there is a kind of an update, which is a kind of a summary of 2025 in your packet, if you've had an opportunity to read that. Moving right along. Is there any questions about Parks and Recreation? Okay, moving right along, Economic Development Tax Board.
Met, we discussed starting this meeting grant process potentially in the works of that. We also asked around this community art and soul highlight that this is a program that kind of does a strategic plan, resident involved or certain organizations involved. We've had one meeting with the leader of this program, Ronnie. That meeting about a month ago or whatever. We just kind of learned about it.
Roughly.
Yeah. And so we're interested in moving forward potentially with this. It's a program, I'm going to say, of about, there would be a leadership team comprised of like 10 to 15 community members that between DTMC received a grant that they find that it is a $10,000 matching seed grant. So DTMC or other funding put in $10,000, and then this Community Heart and Soul would match that $10,000 to do a year-long sort of strategic plan process. Would involve council members from all different organizations in town, but I don't believe we have anything like this in place, and so would kind of give a lot of our different organizations a path. And so we would need a remaining $6,000. The tax board would request that this is something that we kind of support from the county to their improvement of that. Wouldn't necessarily be funded. I don't know exactly what it's funded, but There would be, part of this money goes to hire a project manager to oversee this process. So anyway, there are some, the next step that we would have is to apply for this seeded grant. One of the requirements for the board, the tax board and DTMC are kind of working together on this, but one of the requirements would be, there's like an example of a resolution of support from the city council that you guys, not necessarily financially would have to, but just support. They want the city's council to buy in that this is something that you think is.
Would it be correct to suggest that the $6,000 is going to come from the tax board? Okay, so what would be needed from the city council or the board of aldermen, whichever, is a resolution.
Correct.
Okay, let's go ahead and consider that. Would this board support a resolution?
There's one in here that they provide.
Okay.
There was a little section in there that said financial support from the city. I removed that. Just because, I mean, I guess technically
It is.
it is city, but not the allocated budget line would be from the economic development sales tax.
I'll make a motion, we, it's the next board meeting, Cindy, now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. I mean, if you guys want to review this, and yes, because we would like to.
Move forward.
I guess my question would be is, the 6,000, I know there's very strict percentages of what can be spent. Is that, do we have 6,000 that could be spent for that?
Yeah, the tax, what happens here, Mike, is the tax board has very specific guidelines that detail the state statutes within their documentation. We looked at it the other night when we were over here. 25% can be used, up to 25% of their total revenue, tax revenue can be used on administration.
Okay, so it would go all under that.
Right, it would fall under that.
Or straight over economic development.
Yeah.
It actually, because of the planning side of this, it falls under one of the structural requirements they have to meet. It's one of the boxes that has to be checked, is strategic planning. So you can look at it as administrative and or as a cost of completing the strategic plan, which is a box that has to be checked.
Right.
And the cost associated with this pays for the administration of it and also pays for the coach that comes down here and actually puts on the activities and does the training.
Another cool thing that I thought was neat was that this was a program that are in different states. DTMC applied for this $4,000 initial grant from the Community Foundation in Northeast Missouri and Illinois. And Monroe City was awarded it. There's no other city in Missouri yet that has come. So we would kind of get to be there. They chose us to be there.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor
Yeah, to prepare the
to,
resolution for the next council adopt, next council meeting.
do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve a resolution in support of the Monroe City, Missouri Community Heart and Soul Project, and we'll do our very best to have that ready for the next meeting for this board to act upon. Anything? Oh, the CDBG grant, the first communication and request for information went out to Ryan today. So that's number one. And I understand that we may have to do that multiple times, and we will look at that every week and hopefully get a response and can move forward with the CDBG grant. Next we have on the agenda would be the administration committee report.
We have not met, but Jeanette was including me in some emails today with our insurance company, health insurance, and it appears that open enrollment begins February 1st.
Oh,
And we haven't got quotes yet, so, the next contact person said they were hoping to have those soon. So I would like to propose, proposed administrative committee for the 15th this month, just in case we have those numbers and we can get together and look at those, for our insurance. Yes. 6 o'clock, can members be there on the 15th? Next Thursday. If we don't have them, I guess we'll just have to postpone.
okay. Next thing will be Operations Committee report.
We met, but there are no action items at this time.
Okay. Board of Adjustment.
Oh, I'm sorry, nothing has come before the Board of Adjustments. Nothing's been presented.
The Nuisance Board.
We met, have there been any vehicles towed? No, we're getting close to that point.
Yes, we have sticker some to be towed, there's a big contact list and then contact with tow companies that resolve.
Okay. So, other than that, I don't think there's any other report.
Okay, that completes the committee reports. Moving on, we'll be looking at department reports. Start out police department report.
This is a copy of the MOU for the task force that was requested, along with some additional information.
Thank you, Chief.
This is requested by someone.
Oh, that's-
And I do have several other things to go over. So last week I did have a meeting with mayor and the attorney about several concerns the police department had that have been expressed to the police department. I don't know how much or if any information has been relayed. We haven't had a lot of time since then, so. But with that, I do feel like we had a good meeting. We accomplished many different things in that meeting. But I have expressed these concerns to several members of the council and some of the committees, as well as the mayor before. What I have heard multiple times is, I had no idea this was going on. Why wasn't this addressed in the council meeting? So I'm going to address just a few of those things and a few of the issues tonight. And just check on the status of corrections for some of the things that we had brought up. So first thing, I would like to ask that the police department's admin assistant be given administrative access to the police department's Tession, which is our payroll system. That way we have access to the hours and pay of our department employees, so we can actually see those numbers. I made a request about getting administrative access for myself with BSNA, which is obviously with during this access to the police department budget, invoices, other pertinent info, which Danette did reach out and said she is in the process of getting that corrected. So I do appreciate you working with them to get that corrected for us. Third thing is I was informed that the contract and payment of the NEMO Drug Task Force was going to be on tonight's agenda. I noticed that was not on the agenda tonight. I do believe this is an important topic as the agency is currently working with us and has been since October. Under MOU and contract that was approved in the budget meetings in October, as well as bills payable for them to receive the payment on the October 28th meeting. That check has since then been intentionally restricted from being paid to the task force. Neither myself nor the task force themselves were ever informed that this payment was being restricted. So they have been rendering services to our department since then under the belief that they were going to be getting paid, and are now finding out that may not be the issue. So we went a quarter of the fiscal year now of using their services without them being paid. They are still rendering those services to us in good faith. The MOU will be honored, as well as decision and bills payable to pay them. So I guess my question is, if this isn't going to be addressed tonight, I would request that I be notified once the date and time is set where that topic will be taken up and be discussed. Because I do believe task force is a vital tool to the police department and the safety of our community. And I truly hate to see that service go. Before, there was an operations committee meeting held this week, which had several important agenda items related directly to the police department, to include the police department's payroll and finalizing contracts for future new hires. I was not advised of these items being placed onto that agenda or that they were being discussed. Also was not given any information or ability to have input into these important areas of the department's business. As its elected representative, I would like to be informed when meetings like this take place. I was not even informed that this meeting was going to happen. So after discovering the agenda items that did pertain a lot to the police department, I did attend the meeting, and then all agenda items were tabled and not discussed. So I would ask for the information be provided to me in reference to what these agenda items are pertaining to, as they do directly affect the police department, so that we have time to evaluate for possible solutions to any problems you all might have. I would also request that I be notified when a date and time is set to go over those agenda items, including the payroll and contracts of the police department. I also ask to be notified for future committee meetings that involve decisions being made about the police department, as I am, the elected representative for that department. I expressed concerns a month ago that the city was not paying membership dues to our officers' legal counsel through FOP. These payments had not been paid for several months, although the money was being removed from the officers' paychecks each pay period. This has happened numerous times in the past as well. This leaves our officers without any legal counsel for anything that they're doing while on duty. I believe this item is, to an extent. But so these will cover anything that is happening to our officers, not only through work, but anything outside of work as well. They can still use this as their legal counsel.
You said that there had been payments withdrawn from your payroll.
Yes, so this money was being taken out of our officers' checks.
So it's an officer expense, not a city expense.
And
It's an officer expense, not a city expense.
that is correct. Yes, so that comes directly out of the officers' paychecks. It's their money directly. That came out to about $840 that was taken out of checks and not applied. I believe this item is being addressed, and I believe that is being taken care of after talking to Ronnie. I believe that's.
Yeah, we sent the check out a couple of days ago.
Okay.
I got a hold of the folks over there, and what we're going to be doing going forward is monthly we'll be sending them a check.
Okay.
They don't have a means of producing invoices, and I think we certainly inherited. Inheritance, maybe not the right word to say, but beginning in April 2024, we had a significant number of issues to address, and I think this is one that, believe it or not, fell under the table. Our accounts payable system operates on either receiving a letter in the email with an invoice in it that we tie to a purchase order, or it comes through electronically through our AP at monroecity.org. So this is, I think it was 816, something like that was the check that we sent, $800 and some dollars.
It's in our bills payable.
Yeah, it's in the bills payable. So that should have went out to them.
Completely understandable. I would like to say though that I did see that tonight it is in the bills payable. This is up to your all's decision, but I don't believe it needs to be there since it is the employee's money directly. We have already, once we sign up with that OT, we agree for that allotment, it should be up for the council.
Yeah, we can, I don't even want to take that out. I mean, I signed a check, it's gone.
Like I said, I get that it can also need assistance to make sure that you're seeing it and that you see that it is outgoing. So, either way, but that's just my opinion on that part.
Or it could be added to the bills that were already paid, just as a reference.
Yeah,
It's like paying taxes or anything.
yeah, it's a disbursement of their money. I don't know how this is normally handled. It's not over my pay grade, certainly. I don't see that being a problem.
The next subject is last week we had one day where we had no operational patrol cars for approximately an hour and a half. This is in large part due to maintenance issues and the limited maintenance budget we do have. Well, I guess I should say limited, but limited for the cars that we have. I guess is the best way to put it. One of the patrol cars was still operational. It just happened to be disassembled at that time because we were completing installing the electronics into it, computers, printers, all of those things. And it just happened to be that the rest of the cars went down at the same time. So I did request in the budget to allow for me to explore additional options for patrol cars, including on Purple Wave. That way we can remove Tahoes from the fleet to reduce maintenance costs. I would highly urge the council to reconsider allowing me to at least look into 2 different options. That way we can get those Tahoes out there because they are by and large the primarily attributed to our maintenance.
What was it that failed? One, two.
So one of them was a coolant issue. We ended up having a coolant reservoir that ended up pretty well exploding, as well as some line issues. 102, so that was on 100. 102, the other Tahoe was being driven, and the next thing you know, there's just a cloud of smoke and absolutely no oil in it. It's going to get out of the tailpipe. So that is probably going to be a fix that I would suggest we don't even endeavor on taking at this point and just take that vehicle out of rotation completely.
That's the one you just put the training in.
Yes. But we're continuing to put reliance on these Tahoes until we get some additional cars to be able to get them switched out so that we have backup vehicles. So I know that this wasn't in the budget, but I would request to at least be able to look at some options to see if there's anything affordable out there that would be suitable for us to get these switched out. Because we're a quarter of the way into our budget, and we're already $2,000 away from our maintenance. So that is, I'm trying to do what we can with the maintenance on, but there are some things that are beyond our control unless we get those 2 cars out of circulation.
How's the convict been doing?
Crown Vic's doing it. That was one. It was down because we were installing things into it.
Right, equipment.
We have since then we have been able to get back up to 4 patrol cars running. A lot of that we were able to get done ourselves, and do the fixes and corrections ourselves to cut down on some of the costs. There were nothing that was vital as far as drivetrain or anything like that. So we did get those done at minimal cost. The other thing is, so number 7, with myself and Administrative Assistant Beers, we were informed that a decision would be made at the meeting tonight about either continuing with council's decision to reduce her hours, or if this would be reversed and she would be allowed to continue to work her full-time hours so we can effectively operate the police department. Neither of us have received, up till about 2 minutes before this, I was able to get a hold of the mayor to see whether this was going to be discussed in tonight's closed session, which I believe it is going to be. So here's another kind of embarrassing one. In the past year, one of our security doors within the department, which holds people in a restricted area, literally fell out of the wall with nobody around it. We did, me and the officers, we took corrective actions, properly frame the doors and get them secure. With that, we did go around and look at additional doors in the building, which some did require repairs as well. They were just framed in poorly. So I'm requesting that the city allow me to obtain door trim to complete the project. As the rest of it was essentially performed at cost to myself and another officer.
Who do you want to get to work on that?
We can put it up.
You saw that trim.
Yeah, I just need to trim to go
okay.
around the door frames.
We had what's the name of the company that worked on our doors?
Doors and more.
Doors or more. I mean, if we need to get somebody outside to come in and work on this, we
The
can.
doors are good now. Like I said, we got a good short up. They're solid now. The wall will come down before the door does it.
All right.
We just need to get it trimmed that way we can finish that up.
What do you need from us in order to make that happen?
Just say okay to get trimmed. It'd be for 3 doors from Rose. I
Okay.
don't know what the exact amount's going to be.
I don't think you'd be able to estimate it off the top of your head by going up there.
We should have, I believe, 3,000.
You got some building stuff, a building budget. Okay, board, do you need to approve that or just what? How do you want to handle that? Door trim. Someone make a motion to approve it?
Be fixed.
Okay, just go ahead and do it.
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine it being over $400 or $500 tops.
I would think it'd be more like $100.
Okay, so
I don't need the gold trim, just.
okay,
Something to put over the gap. So another thing we did bring up in the meeting was the K9 unit. And there was still just some inconsistencies with what's being perceived as to what the factual information is. I would just like to clear that up. This is particularly about the cost of the K9 unit plus the take-home vehicle. So we have talked with Myrna. Myrna has agreed that the vehicle is covered through our insurance as a take-home vehicle. So that is not an issue. I know that is one thing that has been kind of repeatedly stated and pushed out there. I think essentially that's a lack of communication from our side to you all. So just letting you know that we did speak with Jeff and Myrna. He did advise that is covered. The other thing I would like to point out is that the fuel cost to go to and from the residence, the city is not paying for any of that. So the officer pays for all fuel to and from work. All that comes out of his own pocket. Whenever he finishes up at the end of his shift, he goes, fills the car on the city's car. That way, everything that he has used during his shift is replaced. He will go home whenever he comes back the next morning. The first thing he does is pay for the fuel to refuel the car on his car. which he does have receipts on all of that, so if that's needed to show that. We can't present those. The other thing we took into account here is the extra mileage that is put onto the car, so that's obviously going to be additional maintenance. He does, we have figured out how much extra mileage is put on it. He does pay for every third maintenance on that vehicle as far as oil changes. That way, everything extra that is incurred from him driving is not going on the city, it's being paid by the officer.
Do you have an email from Jeff?
No, that was in person, but I can talk with him again.
I would feel
Yeah.
better if we had that in the email.
Okay. Yeah, I can talk with him and get that. The other thing we addressed during the meeting was the request to have the 2 to 3 night shifts a week without coverage. I was advised that this was not a legitimate request, although it did happen in the council session. My opinion, this would lead community members to have to wait for counties, agencies from 3 different counties to respond with severely prolonged response times in emergencies, as well as not provide adequate preventative patrols. Just our officers' presence and going around and talking to people at night, knowing that they're identified, goes a long ways in preventing a lot of things from happening. Not having that presence is definitely going to be a detriment. So I'm just wanting to ask you to clarify if this is still a request by the members of the council, or if this is something that we're not worried about at this time.
I don't know who requested that. I did not.
It was just a consideration is a reduction in some of the overtime. It wasn't a necessary request, it was something to consider if it was possible, maybe ways to go around it. We talked about it in the council meeting. As we were brainstorming.
Okay, so if we can find other ways of doing this, then that's a preferable way to do it.
Yeah, from at the council meeting, I think most of us, I mean, my primary concern with most of this stuff is the budget of this issue, is that the in that admin budget, which the police department is included in, we're currently running a deficit, and so we have to. And unfortunately, you guys are one of the few line items in that budget that we get much more over. So.
I'll continue to look at the ways we can try to work around that and get you all some numbers. Like I said, once we get into BS&A, that'll make it a little bit easier to be able to get the numbers out to you all accurately. Until then, it's literally just going to be guessed. So,
And that,
I would agree with that.
I don't want to present you all with bad information. So once we get into that, I'll be able to get some true numbers, or at least fairly accurate numbers over to you all to represent some of the different ways we can look around that. But other than that, that's all I have, unless anybody has anything else.
Yeah.
Like that.
I got this picture. That's that alley where that one truck took out the lines.
Behind Mount Grace.
Yeah, they. I thought it was. Is there a signs? Didn't we sum up that said something?
I was going to bring up the
There's
street.
no through traffic signs on both ends.
Right. So, I tell you what happened, Chief.
That report, so I don't know
Oh
what's
no,
happening.
it was just. I got a picture from a homeowner.
Okay.
Yeah, Rodney, I don't know if this is going to do any good. Rodney stopped into the business that truck was servicing, and he asked them to not use the alley. I don't know if that's going to work or not. You say there's signs on both ends? Okay, well,
So I mean, it's
I don't know what to
clearly
say.
marked. I mean, it'll come down to the little section.
In reference to the Brown and Creek's alleyway, most of that traffic, if it's beverage trucks, they're coming through the Brown
It was
and
a
Creek
full
Park.
semi. This is a full-size
Yes.
semi, if that
Which
makes
is
any
what
difference.
Took out the lines that day. I took that report and worked that one. He was new to the route. Instead of taking the horseshoe, when he came in, he saw that he could. But while he was done, came out, there was like 12 cars that had come in to go to Ground and Grace. It's like, oh, alley, and decided to take that. And once he realized he was snagged, the lines were toast. But a lot of this traffic comes through the Ground and Grace parking lot.
Okay,
Because it's
okay.
so open
So-
until you get into that narrow way.
So what would you and the chief recommend we do? Anything different?
We can look into it. And
I mean,
definitely come up with something.
I don't know that it's an issue. I think
Never been.
they're sensitive to the fact that the pole got knocked down, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it's an issue.
Yeah, and the ground grace, I think that's something we'll talk to the guy.
All right.
Is he coming out to the west?
Yeah.
No, there isn't any room there.
Yeah, you would, I was gonna say, you
He's
wouldn't
gonna
have
hit the
been able
neighbor's
to do
car.
anything once you got past that anyway, so. Yeah, we can look into that and see what we can do there.
Chief, I'd like to go ahead and get the board to address the access to Tession and access to BNSNA. Do we need to have a board motion to make that happen? Should we have a board motion to make that happen? Is the correct answer correct, Wes? Okay.
I'm sorry. I just don't understand why he wouldn't have access. I don't know. Oh, he does.
Well, this was for the administrative assistant.
I'm sorry.
The administrative assistant.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the request was for the administrative assistant to have access to Tession and to BSNA when we go to payroll on that. So she can help.
Well,
With-
BSNA is already being addressed, so.
It's just the Tession.
It would just be the Tession.
Okay, Kim, someone please consider making a motion to approve the police department's administrative assistant's access to Tession payroll system.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? We have a motion second on the floor to approve the administrative assistant's access to Tession payroll system. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Well, I think the other thing would be the NEMO task force we need to address.
On the what?
NEMO task force.
There. Number one, I'm going to ask that we address the drug task force issue relative to, we now have a memorandum of understanding, which was requested by the board. And I would very much like to get this issue managed.
An idea I had, the Northeast Task Force, to me, definitely should be paid for whatever they've done up to this point, whatever that last payment was. But something that I think we should do moving forward is probably get bids from East Central or any other task forces, see what kind of coverage they would give us. And then Northeast could bid too.
I was absent at the meeting that the board approved the $10,000 invoice, but it was approved. So we've already approved the 10,000. So I don't know how we could go back and unapprove it now.
Excuse me?
And why would we? If it was the consensus of the board at that time, why would we?
There's a couple things in place. It had only been since March since we made the last payment. That's where the first question came up. The second thing is we didn't have this. And when we have any payments out, and it's an oversight on us, shame on us, because like John said, for any services that are provided, we ask that they go out and
That's not
get
true. That's not true.
professional services.
That is not true. We paid Snyder for $1,200 for work in City Hall.
1,200 is not 10,000.
I agree, but still, that's not always
Is
accurate.
there a limit to that?
John, you want to address this?
I think it's 5,000. So just tell everybody, I reached out to Municipal League, they reached out to the Missouri Ethics Commission. The issue on Mike is, I think it's 5,000 for the year, and then I want to say it's 500 per job. So if the job, I mean, obviously, best practice, put it out for bids.
Or if we're paying an alderman, it should be disclosed. It should be publicly disclosed.
I'm not arguing with that. I mean, it should be, probably should have been bid,
Yes.
but their take was, it didn't turn into a violation because the jobs themselves were less than 500. And the aggregate was under the amount. But no, I would recommend that things like that be bid out.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't like the fact that we approved the bill to be paid and then now, however many months later, we say we're not gonna pay it. Wouldn't want to be a person that you said you were gonna pay and then now you're not going to.
I don't disagree. But there were some other questions.
Well, then it
that we had.
shouldn't have been
Then
approved.
it shouldn't have been approved.
It was an oversight.
Shame on us.
Fault.
Shame on us. But in the financial position that we're in, I would like to be able to do it by quarter. If we're gonna pay them, what's the time frame? Is it calendar year? Is it January 1 to December 31? Because if the last payment was in March, then we're paying them $20,000 between January 1 and December 31, the way that was falling.
Was it because it was paid in March because it didn't get paid when it was supposed to get paid?
I don't know. I don't know that. I really don't.
Once again, shame on us.
You're absolutely right, but we're trying to fix some of the past bad behavior that we've had as a whole.
But I think approving a bill and then disapproving a bill is bad behavior.
Nobody disapproved it. We just opted to see if there was a way that we can choose how we pay it. If we're gonna pay $10,000, can we pay $2,500 because they've done a quarter's worth of work between now and the end of the year?
And that's fine, but that's not what the discussion was.
And that's something I can absolutely bring up to. I mean, that's,
That allows us to back up and go out for bid and fix some of the stuff that we have done wrong in the past. Because continually making some of these changes and just going freely is not a good practice for us as a whole.
I don't disagree.
That's where we stand.
one thing I would argue with bids, I get exactly where you're going with it. But you want to take into consideration the coverage area as well. What areas do they serve? Like East Central. They're in Monroe County. They've got Palmyra, and then they've got like down in St. Charles. What information are we going to get from St. Charles? It's going to affect us in
They probably wouldn't bid on it, would they, if it's outside their.
Oh, they absolutely would. I can tell you with most of those apartments, they'll tell you that they've seen East Central Task Force maybe 2 times in a year.
But,
I think there's a lot to consider.
What the numbers are, and then you tell us what you think.
Absolutely, because it is something. There's a lot of things that need to go into that decision.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of considerations. What are they really going to offer us for that money compared to, if we had to pay more for another one, what services are we going to get from them?
No, absolutely. No,
That's
eBid
perfect.
should say what they're gonna do.
Because right now we're paying for a service that we're entrusting to our department, not that that's a bad thing. It's not a judgment on you, but when we're messing with the city's money, I would expect, as any other citizens would want to know, at least just the basics of, okay, yeah, we're giving these guys $10,000. What are they doing? Okay, so I know we're not supposed to know some of what they're doing because there's a safety issue and all of that.
But there's a lot of that information that you will require that is perfectly safe to get and to express. So that is nothing that I'm beyond getting prepared for you all. That's not an issue. So.
If there was something that was confidential or too confidential, then it could be done in a different setting. But again, I think that just a general understanding of I'll use the phrase generalities would probably be sufficient in most cases. Now, I think what I heard just happen was a recommendation for the board to get bids for services, which I think what I heard you all discuss was regardless of what we've done wrong in the past, this board and other boards, at some point in time, you need to say, hey, we messed up, which we did, and moving forward is what I heard. Do it, we use the phrase by the book. So what would have to happen in order to do that, in my opinion, what would have to happen in order to make it official, two things would have to happen. One, a member who voted yes, all right, to proceed with the memorandum of understanding and the payment would have to make a motion to undo that. And then the board would have to vote, you have to have a motion, a second, and the board would have to vote to undo that decision that was made by motion. Because it was done by motion. That's the way you have to fix that. And then you have to make a motion to authorize the payment for the first quarter or whatever the time frame is that she communicates to you.
Whenever that's.
Okay. And then you'd have to go out and get bids. And I want to ask a question. Who's going to do their job while we're getting bids?
Well, Northeast would continue to do the job at $2,500 a quarter. Then we'd have bids.
Then that's how you have to state your motion.
Do we need to find out if it was paid in March, what the deal was there?
I think that's water under the bridge to move forward and make an assumption. And the reason why I'm doing this is dated January 6, 2026. What's happened has happened in the past. Just based on this, my understanding would be January 6th of this year to January 6th of next year, and just don't worry about the past. We can't go back and fix it because we would have to go back and fix multiple years. And I don't know how we would do that.
No, but I would like to define, that's one thing we need to make sure we do moving forward is define what our time period is. As you said, we make a good motion.
Well, if right now I would be under the assumption that this memorandum is dated January 6th. So if it was for a 1 year period or 1 quarter or 1/2 of the year, it'd be from this date.
So calendar year.
Yeah, the calendar year. Absolutely, same thing.
Yeah.
I'm a stickler for dates and times and stuff like that.
It just makes it easier. I wasn't here, so I can't make the motion.
A board member, not me,
I make a motion to reverse the accounts payable dated, to reverse the vote on the accounts payable to pay Northeast Missouri Narcotics Task Force $10,000 from October of last year to make a payment for the first quarter of 2026 in the amount of $2,500. Wait, we have to do this two different.
We owe them from October, though, right?
Yeah.
Do I need to just keep one at a time?
Well, I have to make a payment for first quarter. She's asking, does she need to separate?
Do I need to separate the motion?
I think so. Make it clean.
I make a motion to retract our vote from October of 2025 to pay the Northeast Missouri Narcotic Task Force $10,000.
we have a motion on the floor to rescind or retract the payment in the amount of $10,000 to the Northeast Missouri Drug Task Force from October of 2025. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to rescind the approved payment of $10,000 to Missouri Drug Task Force from October of 2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No, I don't agree with
I'm a no, but I don't say yes.
So the
Eyes or agencies.
What's going on?
and Mike,
Go, how many, who?
Okay.
What happened?
It passed.
I have the eyes.
How many ayes?
3.
4.
Oh,
I did not vote aye.
You did not.
What did you do?
Well, we have,
Yeah,
we did ask for
that's-
those.
you have a sorry.
Hmm?
You did not ask for no. You asked for yes.
Just ask for the yes, sorry, I messed up.
All in favor, just.
All in favor say aye.
aye,
How many ayes?
3.
How many noes?
3. So that means you break the tie.
Can you vote if you weren't on the first one?
I didn't vote no, or I didn't vote yes on the first one. I just
Okay.
can't make the motion.
No, that's okay. I just don't know how that works.
It breaks the tie.
We didn't, you weren't here to be.
No,
John?
she wasn't here, chairperson. I understand that.
It's up to the mayor to break the tie.
It is. Good God.
I'm sorry.
What I can say at this point is NEMO task force works in much closer proximity to us. They work with agencies around us that we actually have narcotics transfers with. We go with North Missouri Task Force, we're gonna be dealing with people from Kirksville. That information is not going to be pertinent to us.
So they may not even bid though. I mean, that's, I'm just saying, that's something to consider if you probably April first.
Legally.
They get paid.
So we've got two other agencies in this area. One is gonna be out of Kirksville, the other is based out of St.
I mean, just because we put it out for bid doesn't mean we're gonna get any other bids, but we did our due
And
diligence
you can
to put it out.
choose the one that you want.
Right, and you, we still choose.
And you can recommend.
So that-
I
I
mean,
have a question.
If you want to filter some of these questions, I mean, I'm happy to answer. But
I have a financial question for
I
you.
just, I wanna see, did we get the vote? Cause if
Not
they
yet.
not, it's a moot point.
It's up to the mayor.
It's unfortunate we didn't consider that we needed to follow our own Monroe City code and ordinances on purchasing when we entered into this agreement. We've already talked tonight about having erred in the past with one of our own board members because we didn't seek competitive bids. I don't know how I could, going forward, not support utilizing our own documented city code that requires competitive bids. So I vote yes.
So now is there gonna be another motion? I mean, we owe them October through the end of December, I'd say January to the end of March, and put it on that agenda. Take bids and consider them at that time.
So we owe them for 2 quarters, right?
One.
Yeah, well, we're in the second quarter.
We're in the
now,
second
so-
quarter now. Because was the payment in March of last year, was that for before? You remember?
your previous payment took care of last year's grant period. My grant runs from July 1 to June 31st. Your budget runs from October back around. Okay? So it's different for the city marshals, it's different for the sheriff's office. Most sheriff's offices are January 1 through December 31st. Again, mine runs from July 1 to June 31st. So this is the payment now that was to be received based on the MOU agreement with the police department and our agency. Like these 7 other agencies that I have, it's for the for this period. So,
So
again,
July so we gotta use for July 1st of last year to now. Is that what you're saying?
Do we have a contract that we can reference with that?
We don't know the bill for that.
I mean, there's probably MOU years before any of us were even.
yeah, historically, nice step up here is okay. Historically, like he and I explained during the meeting that I attended one other time. Historically, Monroe City has always supported the Northeast Southern Enterprise Task Force. With that said, our region runs from Shelby County, so you start at Clarence, and runs clear over to West Quincy, which is Marion County. From Hannibal, it goes both directions, and I go clear down to Perry. And then I go from Hannibal back up to Canton and back over to Monticello and back around. You had stated something about the Central River Task Force, okay? They run the whole east side. So they're based out of Mexico. I am based out of Monroe City. This is our centralized hub for the areas that we cover. I'm here every day. Okay? I may not be here for 8 hours a day because we are dispatched with all the other agencies that help, who also signed that MOU. As stated in the information I provided, you all are one of the higher paying agencies, or contributing agencies for cities. And it's somewhat on the tier program, okay? But if you pay higher, you're going to get the first response funds. The ones such as Clarence, as you can see, they do provide stuff, but they understand that if there's an agency like Monroe City, or Marion County, which is in Monroe City, Ross County, and Monroe County, that are paying, which from Monroe County, they don't pay. We don't cover them. We cover part of Monroe County because Monroe City pays us. So with that, Monroe County, they are attached with East Central. I don't know how many times, personally, that East Central has showed up over there in work cases and et cetera. But if you all remember, some of y'all, remember how many cases Chief and I laid out and the things that have happened here in Monroe City that we've assisted with or done alongside of them. Again, there's some of those cases, I don't know how you put a number on it. But if it is a number, and this is what you all want to do, and you want to place it out for bids, it's okay. But I understand that. Okay, I have to treat this as a business, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to run our business. I'm going to run our business in town to help you all mitigate any type of drug crimes. And if we're talking about drug crimes that, well, we want to see results and we want to see people get charged and, let's say, court costs, Mr. Russell. If you can come up with a city ordinance that says whenever we find somebody in possession of a controlled substance that is not of a higher quantity, if you're willing to, because it's my understanding from my career that you can charge felony, is that correct?
Yeah, we can't.
So, but you can charge drug paraphernalia.
Yeah, we've got it.
And you can charge it, and I don't know if it's $300, $500.
No, it's $500.
So if you adopt that,
We've got it now.
okay, and if you want those cases from us, and even though that substance is being stored in what we're going to call drug paraphernalia, that baggie, or anything like that, and if you want them to charge it, so that the city can turn around and say, okay, I want that person.
I would be welcome to that, because people aren't going to prison for that anyway. So,
That's money coming back to your all's community, okay? And it would help, in lieu of that, it would help incur some of that cost that you all provide for us, okay? I'm happy to do that. I won't turn them into the state. I'll turn them over to Monroe City, and you can charge them all day long. And start getting some of this money back. So if we're talking about that, hypothetically, if we find 20 individuals that are in possession of methamphetamine or anything like that, you can charge them $500 and earn your $10,000 back. Again, it's a business. Okay?
Math works.
I won't make a promise to you that I'm going to find 20 individuals, okay? But I'm going to do my darndest.
So we need to do payment.
No, and I'm not saying don't go with Northeast. I'm just saying I think the city has a duty to take bids.
I can tell you,
Yeah.
That's fully involved.
So,
I think that's the law.
yeah,
I think we'll fully.
I mean, I want to hear what the chief thinks.
Yeah, I don't think
you know,
anybody's
we
disagreeing
do that in
with that.
our-
I'd say there's a 90% chance we're gonna be back with the task force.
I
However,
I
we will
agree.
have done
I
what we
agree.
need to do.
Like I said, I don't want to come across as I disagree with that. I mean, I do fully agree. That's why I said, you know, if
Go
that's
through the
information I need to get, then I'll
If-
get that information.
If you do it this way,
We're covered.
we've got everything covered, and no one can come along and say that we did something wrong. And I'm not going to apologize for what happened in the past, but what I think we all need to do, each and every one of us, is try to do it right going forward. And when we find out that we made a mistake, we owe up to it and we fix it.
yes, sir.
At this point, Mr. Mayor, would it be correct to offer a motion to pay for 2 quarters
Yes.
of what was already?
Yes.
I make a motion that we pay $5,000 for 2 quarters of their services, and then we can figure out exactly the dates and everything, and to where we can make a adjustments going forward for the next council.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to pay $5,000 to the drug task force for services rendered up to through the period. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. We'll get you paid.
Could the PD go ahead or whoever's supposed to do this and go out for bid?
Sure.
Absolutely.
That way. we'll have it.
There's no one more qualified than the chief of police to get that started. And when I say that, that doesn't mean you have to do it. If you need my assistance or my office's assistance, we will be glad to help you with it.
So we talk with them pretty regularly too, so.
Okay.
That's not a big issue.
All right.
The
Well,
only thing I will say, before closing on our end, if it's okay. Again, if that's what you all feel like you need to do, then I understand. Again, it's a business. So with that, your dilemma is going to be the distance between here, the other agencies, departments, the main, okay? So that's what happens is with other agencies, and I'm not going to name them, but there are 2 other agencies that Chief has mentioned. Their hub is way north or it's way east. Okay? So they're going to work in the areas, and this is primarily what they've done. And the same with us. Okay? Marion County, which is part of Monroe City, that's probably our bread and butter when it comes to any type of narcotics investigations, okay? Including Monroe City. Because again, what I explained last time when I was here, there is no jurisdictional boundaries on these individuals that are selling dope and using drugs and so on and so forth. And or their family members that are leaving the Department of Corrections, and however many are utilizing Monroe City as their place of residency once he or she leaves. Now, again, I'm hoping that whenever they are released from the Department of Corrections, that they are rehabilitated to the point that they don't want to ever go back that direction. But unfortunately, sometimes things happen, okay? And with that, it's just going to cause, we're going to end up having more filtration of individuals coming from the Department of Corrections and utilizing the city of Monroe City. With that, again, there is many times in the previous years that whenever we're making purchases, we may have a helper that's helping us here. Or I know that individual, they don't know that I'm a police officer or another agent, and we tell them to meet us here. Okay? The reason we do that is because this is, according to an account that we're sharing with one another on social media, says, hey, I live here, and I tell you that I'm broke down. I can't come there, but you can drive to me, and they'll bring those drugs here. And there's been times that more times than not, whenever we've made purchases, it's either within 2,000 feet of your school, because they don't care, or within 1,000 feet of public housing or daycares. They don't care. So, so with that, please, I mean, if you feel like that's what you need to do, I'm just sharing the fact that one agency has more MOU signers. I can tell you that right now. And it was brought up recently that they're thinking about continuing services with the agencies that are so far out because their workload has gotten higher volumes with the area that has got more population or next to, like Monroe City is the beach. Okay? So this is more of their bread and butter in that area. And again, as far as how many times other agencies see those task force members, talk to them, share information, work cases together, etc. Just like the chief said, most of the individuals that live here, they're all from, they travel back and forth to Hamilton. They're not going to Columbia, most likely to pick up a purchasing account. If they're going through Hamilton, they go to Hamilton, they go to West Quincy. We also work with West Quincy's drug task force. We bounce back and forth over there. If they have somebody that they're interested over here, we have somebody that we can introduce them to over here. We'll go and say, hey, this is the outline of what we see. You want our help? That's okay. But we're going to come back over to our help, which is good.
I think it's very fair to say and suggest that as we go through this process, this board is going to rely on the chief of police's input and his recommendation, and perhaps other officers that he may choose to engage in his discussions with the board when we get to the point where we're actually taking a look at the bids and we can have these discussions. And you know, I agree with Alderman Simpson. I would say there's a 90% or better chance that we will continue with what we've done in the past. But you know, this goes back to what I said at the very beginning. We're continuing to work on our policies and our processes. And that's what this is, and I would certainly encourage you, Captain Johnson, not to take it as anything other than that.
No, and again, I appreciate everybody's time and letting me speak. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Appreciate it.
thank you.
What about the animal shelter? It's in your park.
Oh, the animal shelter?
Man, that's another
I
subject.
think can I bring up the vehicle first?
Well, okay.
What year is the Crown Vic that we bought?
2009.
Okay, I just looked on Purple Wave and there's an 09 that sold for $2,860, one for $2,310.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very partial to cars.
Yeah, I mean,
They don't have a lot of
they're-
electronics, they're easy to crash,
going
and
pretty
you can whole engine swap.
I wish I brought my laptop with me. I could speak more intelligently about the money that we had in there for that we put in. I think we talked about an Explorer or something. So I don't know what we can do with that. I would encourage you, if you have the time, or someone has time, or maybe if not, you talk to one of us and we'll find the time to go do some research. If you give us the information you want us to go research, okay? I think we can figure something out. I know we can't replace 3, whatever those are.
Well, here's my thing, I can get one more car, even if we were able to get a vehicle like that, I can go ahead and start getting those titles circulated out.
Okay.
And that's what the ultimate goal is to get them out and not have to rely on someone.
Okay.
So that's the main thing, but if you're all are okay with that, I'll see information I come up with.
I think we start down that process.
See if it works or not.
I think we start down that process. Now, you know me, Chief. I like to close all the issues up. We handled the Tession, correct? I think that you get that letter to and to whomever requested the letter from Myrna, who requested it. Okay, get that, if you could please, get that email from Jeff or whatever form it's going to be in over to Alderman.
Saunders and-
Yes, Saunders here. I apologize.
That's okay.
I was thinking about something here.
Actually, it's just CC our city attorney would be fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Give it
That's
to
fine. We'll
Jeanette.
get that handled. We know where we're going with the drug task force. You got some guidance on the vehicles. The one thing left on here is the issue that you brought up with Assistant Kim Pierce. And you want to do that in closed session? Does it need to be in closed session? It doesn't need to be in closed session, does it?
You don't ever have to go to closed session.
Not unless there's going to be big.
Well, no, I don't know. What's your choice, Alderman Saunders?
I mean,
Closed or open?
to be legalistic, it's not, I guess it is.
It's always on the agenda.
Yeah, it's always, and what happened is she contacted me prior to the meeting. I know that there's been some discussion about this, not that I necessarily was involved in it, but what's the board's pleasure? Do you want to do this in open session or you want to do it in closed session? President, what say you?
Whatever it is, what do you suggest, John?
You can do closed if that might further better discussion.
Very well, then we'll do that in closed session.
Always remember you never have to go to closed.
All right, I think that's it unless you got something
Animal
else.
shelter. Animal shelter.
Oh.
So I have talked with the state inspector. We have gotten a little bit of time to redo the ceiling. I told them I believe that was our problem last year, and why we had the problem this year. So they kind of forced our hand in doing that in the middle of winter. It's not really a good time to try to seal concrete, but so we did talk with them. They're willing to give us an extension if we continue to do cleanings, which we did get a large donation of cleaning supplies, as well as all of the dogs are out of the pound right now, so we've done a very thorough deep cleaning. So with the supplies that were donated, we're going to be able to continue to do a deep clean every week. They say as long as we do that, they'll work with us till we get to a little bit warmer weather to do the sealing. That way we're not running the same problem next year.
You say we, the police department's doing the cleaning, is the officers cleaning? Who's cleaning?
It's a mix.
Okay.
A lot of it is being done by the street department,
Okay.
which is not here. Then we have LPG and then people that are down there taking care of the pound. We're all kind of pitching in and doing what we can. So.
One thing that, I apologize, may I interject? One thing that did come up, we may have to go back and look at the total budget for the humane shelter. Don't know what that means just yet, and when we have a little more information, relative to dollars, we'll be bringing that back to talk about, because this recent inspection has caused some unexpected expenses, whether it's the exhaust fan or the labor associated with the cleaning, which really that's going to be not an issue if it's done by the police force or done by the street department. Maybe some expenses for materials.
We got the 2 employees, right?
We got 2 employees. So what used to cost us about $175 a month is now going to be costing us around $800 a month.
So
Well,
let's go back.
What's our alternative?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what alternative do we have?
Tell them the truth. We don't have one. The state requires it.
State requires we have
A dog pound?
Yes.
Why?
Because the state says that we have to. Go ahead, Chief.
There's a state statute. I don't remember exactly which statute it is, but it does state that city of a fourth class city of our size, we do have to maintain a dog pound. That way we're able to take care of any and all vicious dog complaints or loose or animal at large calls.
And we have to keep all the paperwork
documentation, all that, and we're gonna have to readdress our adoption fees. Because a new requirement we now have is all dogs have to be fully vaccinated before we can release them. So we will be having to vaccinate for rabies and those types of deals as well before we can release.
Improve,
the
spay or neuter.
Yeah, which we've already got that, so the spay or neuter, as long as they're set up with, as long as they're set up with their vet, and then we get that documentation back, that's fine.
Do you happen to know if it states how long we're required to keep it? Let's make it easier. If you can put your hands on it, can you share that with the board members
I can
electronically?
locate something, yeah. As I say, from what I've looked at so far, I have not seen, I haven't seen anything as to how long it's required. Just that it is.
What was the
Sounds like
five?
we might have to do a little bit, I don't know, like something John could do or something, but we might need a little bit more information on what we're required to have.
Okay.
Because it's certainly out of our previous operating budget.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to make some kind of
How long?
plan to move forward.
How long do you have to keep the animals?
So that is up to city. At this point, we're set for 2 weeks. I would recommend that we go down to 1.
Okay.
However, through this last process, we have made contact with many more rescues. So we've now got a lot more contacts to try to get these out a lot more quickly if need be.
I think that I think it'd be probably the best thing would be to have you think about what your recommendation would be on the length past 5 days, and then come back to the board and say, hey, this is what I think you ought to do, and then we can adopt it.
So my recommendation is to go with minimum of just 1 week.
All right.
If they're not out within a week.
How much are shots?
Well,
Not cheap.
yeah, quick.
We are very,
Monica's a lot more reasonable.
let's say
yeah.
Monica is
Yes.
very, very awesome with us. It's essentially just the price of the shot. She does pretty well everything else.
Cost.
It costs. So, I mean, it's,
Okay.
she's very reasonable with this.
And she wouldn't have.
No.
Okay.
Questions?
Captain?
I just want to state, the information you have, that is not a copy of the MOU. I wanted to let you know. It's information about what an MOU is, and then the services, contributions that the other agencies, the other 7 agencies provide me. And if you need a copy of the signed MOU, I'll provide that to Chief. He's welcome to provide it to you all following. So I
Great.
just wanted to clarify
Yeah,
that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Captain. Appreciate it. Okay. Water?
Nothing.
All right. All right, we've had some mechanical issues here this last month or since the last meeting. The water plant air compressor, the motor went out on it. We had to replace the motor. While we were there, we also replaced the dryer. Anybody knows much about air compressors, you gotta have dry air. And then we also installed an automatic blow off. There's just so much moisture in that plant, and we were getting too much moisture into the vacuum pump that runs the clarification process. So with this automatic blow off, it about 3 days into it, the air's dry again coming out. So everything's good. It was just under $1,000 for the motor. We ran over to Richards, picked it up, got the air compressor back up, and it'll go on to the maintenance fund from the service. Another air compressor, it's a small, like job site air compressor size that runs the pressure dome on the sludge press went out. We had to purchase another one of them, $200 from Bombard's. We went up there and picked that up and got that all switched out. I don't know if anybody noticed down here in front of the wedge, there was some activity there. We were able to work with the contractor there as well as the owner to make them understand they could not hook back up the drains, the window drains back into the sanitary sewer. It took quite a bit of persuading, but we finally got it to happen. So they just actually ran a kind of a drain tile out. So their window sills will drain and it's not going into the sanitary sewer on the east side. The west side is still hooked up. Yes,
Is that a business that was doing that, or?
the owner of the actual building, the wedge.
The wedge,
yes.
okay.
And Steve,
Okay.
I can't remember what
Steve Carroll.
Yeah, Steve Carroll is one of the owners, and he's the one that we dealt with the most. Him and then Greg Clement.
Joe Maxwell?
He never showed up here, or I never saw him.
It was resolved fairly quickly.
It's got cement. It's been
Oh,
cemented.
it's been cemented.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just talked to the contractor, Case, that I can go and pull the barricades, so we'll get it tomorrow.
Excellent.
Let's see here. I did just get, this afternoon, I haven't had a chance to look at them yet, but the Megan H. feed, drawings from Mark Ross. So once I sign off on them, he can get that turned into DNR so we can get our construction permit to actually build what we're building. So, let's see here. The vac truck, it's getting about that time of year where we need to take it in for its annual go through. It's we have to run it down to Springfield, Illinois, and they actually go through everything and make sure that your $500,000 piece of equipment is actually operating the way it should.
The street sweeper's what we just got back in there.
I have no idea. That's not my department.
Trucks.
Yeah, trucks. Last year was a little bit more expensive, but we had actually extended it way out, close to 2 years. So we will need to do that. It is in the budget. We have to take it to a Vector dealer, and the closest Vector dealer is Co-Equipment in Springfield, Illinois. So
Do you have to put it on a flatbed and rent?
no, we drive it.
Oh,
All right, you can go. It's got a bouncy seat. No? Okay. All right.
unless I can drive.
You got a CDL?
That answers that.
All right. The water plant sludge in the lagoons right behind the water plant. So during the process, all the mud, all the carbon, everything else goes out in these lagoons. We did budget $50,000 to have some removed. This year it won't remove all of it. We have to have this removed when the crops are out because it is land applied. So there actually is another process, a little bit more expensive. You can get these socks that can blow into the socks, let the water run out of it, but then you got to dispose of the socks. Yes, sir.
Who's performing the work?
Nobody's performing the work. I have not had that done yet. I have not.
So we bid that out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working with Kendrick Land Management right now. They are the local people. But yeah, it will be bid out. We've already had it tested. It's very high in aluminum. The city for many, many years used alum as a coagulant. And so the aluminum is a huge number. So we're trying to work through how to allow that to be land applied and not blow their numbers totally out because you can only put so much metals on the land. So I'm still working through that, but I'm just asking if I do get far enough to where we can find some land to have this land applied, can I go ahead and put it out for bid and not have to wait for the next meeting?
I think you go ahead and put it out for bid.
Right, well, we talked,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
and I was supposed to address the board and just let them know what we're doing and why it's kind of a hurry, because we had till probably the beginning of April to get it done. We've already did the $1,000 test on the sludge, we just now need to find the land to get it out. Last thing, and this is kind of a weird situation, so I believe, well, I think you two were on the board, when we purchased
Lucky
a pump for the shelter lift station. That's been quite a while ago, but we put a new pump in there. Well, the pumps are no longer operational. There needs to be work done to this lift station.
At the sheltered workshop, you're referring to?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. When we purchased the pump, I, working with the city clerk at the time, and I believe Jackie might have still been here also, it determined that that lift station actually did not, at that point, belong to the city. It was never, it was, do you remember that? So, but then I was told, or the board decided and told me to go ahead and replace the pump, and it's a sewer thing, we need to go ahead and just do it. So I purchased the pump, put the pump in, well, here we are, now this is gonna be a much larger dollar amount fix. This is a panel, because also, I know Jason was on the board at that point, we replaced all the lift stations in town, but we chose not to replace that one with a new panel and new pumps, we did the other 5.
Belongs to the workshop, basically.
Yes, yes, so it is on private property. I have seen no easement. Is there a legal easement? I don't know, I probably need to get a hold of John and have John try to find find something for us. But right now, we're going over there daily and pumping this thing out and taking the raw sewage down to the wastewater plant and dumping it. So we're using the vac truck. If I send the vac truck down to Springfield, I have no way to do it. This really just, somebody needs to tell me how to proceed.
This is where you get into the,
Because I didn't know any of that.
I know, that's why, and you were busy, so I didn't. And she's been so busy, I haven't been able to go in and really lay all this stuff on the net, so she's hearing from me this for the first time.
this is going to be one of those situations, if I may interject.
Well, can I say one more thing real quick, and then you can go? This is
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
This is a duplex lift station, which is what we would have required anybody else to upgrade their lift station to in order for the city to take it over.
And they had.
So to your comment, this one is, it's up to.
It's up to city specs, yes. Okay, that's all that I have, and I'll let you guys discuss and tell me what we need to do.
The motor that failed, is it by chance under warranty?
No, it's been, you get a year warranty on that, and I believe Potterfield was the mayor at the time. So I mean, we're 3 to 4 years past, easy.
Did we actually order motors? We have not.
No, we have done nothing.
Okay.
Because I came to talk to you, I knew this conversation was coming, I just, yes,
Are there 2 motors? One
there are. Neither one of them, yeah. The panel itself, so the one side of the panel has totally went dead. We've been running on the other side, knowing that we'd be able to switch the wires on the pumps. That has already been done.
Trying to like make a distinguish between sort of a public, you know.
This is not a public, no, this was.
Specifically for the
Yeah,
workshop.
I did talk with Terry Osborne, who was the water and sewer guy at the time that this was installed. And he was under the impression that it was gonna be theirs also. But, you know, he did, I guess, help. And then there was a gentleman here who was an engineer that used to be a city administrator, I believe. He was involved in that also.
Burns.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I mean, we would probably have a prescriptive easement because it's been there over 10 years, everybody knows it. I mean, I don't think we're in danger of not having access to it. So even if it's not recorded, it'd be, I mean, am I making sense here? Say you don't have a deed recorded, the county saying, hey, city has an easement here, but our lift station's been there so long and it's known to all, so you can still have an easement that way.
If it was ours.
Well, we're still using it. I mean, you're getting into things.
Well, let me be the devil's advocate. This board was approached by another business in this town on a very similar issue of the city taking it over. And that would require an easement, it required access, and I do believe that George,
I mean, I would say let's look at it. I mean, I want to know who paid for it. I mean, there's a lot of facts we don't know.
well, we know it's privately owned, just like the one north of town is privately owned.
Well, there's one over on, that had some problems
Meadow
over
Lane.
on Meadow.
Mhm.
It's private.
Did we fix that too?
No.
It's not ours.
Not ours. I think the not ours is the key.
Because the one on Meadow was put in by the developer, I think,
Right.
back in the 70s or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's what I
Didn't
would.
follow code or whatever.
Yeah. So no, I think there's facts that we'd want to figure out here.
I mean, that was one comment I think George had kind of spelled out there, that this one is at least up to code. So it doesn't have some of the issues some of the other ones do, but there is still distinction of like, it's not ours.
So
Yeah,
what's,
yeah, who
what-
pays
what's,
for it?
The other
What's all
challenge
we
is
do?
it only serves one purpose. It's
And
not like
they're
it's.
the only ones that have use of it, yeah.
So by
What
us
did-
pumping it out, we were helping them out and doing a kind service, but now that the truck's gotta be gone to be fixed, then they're responsible for doing it until.
Well, I haven't made the appointment, so we still got a little while.
Okay.
But, yeah, this just happened earlier this week, was when the pump went out. I've contacted, an electrician that would come, but I put him on hold until we find out, because again, I know we did put that pump in there, but again, whenever I presented that at that point, I made it clear that it was not the city's lift station. The board chose to make it, or to maintain it and continue maintaining it, so here we are, different situation, different budget, things look a whole lot different, and, yeah, and again, this lift station cannot be used by any future development at all. The only place it will ever be able to service is the shelter works. I mean, I know that they do a lot of good for the community, but
Yeah,
But they have their own budget too.
Budgets.
they do have their own budget.
I hope theirs is in better shape than ours. Basically, what you're asking this board, are you gonna spend $25,000, yes or no?
yeah, do I need to hurry up and get quotes? Do we deem this an emergency and get somebody in here right now, or do I get quotes and we pump it out for 2 weeks and, hope they never flood inside while, because if they leave a faucet on,
Do they have a backflow valve in there?
oh no, not on the sewer. They wouldn't have that on the sewer.
Well, they don't have showers or anything.
No. But that pit is, I could stand in the pit and my head, the top of my head would be sticking out. It's probably this big around. I'm assuming 500 gallons.
A week.
No, that we pump it out daily and it's pretty full by the end of the day.
Yeah, they do have showers.
I don't know if they actually.
Like I
use them
said,
on
you
a
have one
regular
toilet
basis, but-
that runs at 5 gallons a minute all night long. That's gonna flood their whole building.
What's your pleasure, board?
I
What's
think
the next step?
I have John do some quick research to see what he can find out, maybe.
Well,
Well, I mean,
I don't know that that's needed unless you are willing to accept ownership of it and pay the $25,000 to repair it.
I'm not.
So here's my
Make that
question.
choice yet.
By having done the previous repair, does that make us obligated to continue to?
I don't think so.
It was a courtesy, it was a
It
nice
was a
thing
one-time
to do.
courtesy.
Yeah, I
It
don't.
was a nice thing to
It's
do.
the neighborly thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know who put their hands on the documents that we had 4 years ago either. So I'm gonna have to turn that over to Danette and, because it came from City Hall and it never left City Hall. So it should be down there in one of their, you know, I have nothing on it. So I'm sorry, Danette.
And what was the
well,
agreement?
I guess my opinion would be that we would notify them that it's not ours, and then they can pursue it from there, and they can always address the board if there's some.
Could we
Difference
continue,
of opinion on that.
continue to help pump it until they can get it repaired though? Or is that just like feeding for, I mean,
It would be a neighborly thing to do, but
yeah,
But if we're gonna have to send it out for
We're gonna have to
maintenance,
I know,
Yeah,
but I
you
mean,
just
until they
gotta
can
let
get
me
it
know.
fixed.
there is a, what's called a bypass there. If they wanted to purchase a pump, they could purchase a pump that would then go into a bypass pipe, which would kick it across the railroad tracks. But
Where's it go? In the
it
ditch?
goes into the sewer. No,
Oh,
no, no,
okay.
no. It is. It's for something like what's going on right now, but I don't want to leave our $4,000 pump sitting out there just to go run it for 20 minutes a day.
right?
He's looking at the live. That's when you wanna go. I don't know.
La, la,
Don't
la.
look at me.
Okay, no action on that.
Wait, John, did you have something? You look like you had a.
I mean, I'll see what I can find out about these.
Well, George keeps doing what he's doing, or what? Is
I'm
that-
not going to let sewer run on the ground.
Right.
So I'm going to continue using your equipment to pump it out unless you tell me I cannot.
I mean, I'm
So
sure
that's what I'm
they're,
kind of wanting you guys to give me some guidance.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're aware of the problem, right?
I doubt they are.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would,
That would be the
that would be
first
my
step.
request, is that we would essentially make them aware of the issue and that it's
their issue.
their issue really, and that we've been helping out, but
But
they're
they're
gonna have to take care of the issue. Especially,
I agree with that.
you can kind of then give them, I think, a little bit more of a guide, of a deadline in that we also have to send our truck off and get it maintenance, so
Mhm.
you can't come up with every day for the next 2 months, or whatever.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That's what
So you're pumping it Monday through Friday?
Yeah, we'll pump it tomorrow morning because they're closed tomorrow, so we
Right.
won't have to pump it Saturday, and we probably won't even pump it Monday.
Yeah.
Probably pump it Tuesday through Friday.
Tuesday, Friday, yeah.
But we'll check it every day just to make sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Enough for you?
Pardon?
Did you get enough on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Electric Department,
Nothing to report this week, just business as usual. I did want to ask if you guys, if the committee met for the apprenticeship step program that I offered last meeting.
I don't think so.
hmm?
Committee, what, was that
I don't know
operation?
what committee it was.
Was that been operation?
We haven't talked about it. It wasn't on last,
I think,
is that it?
yeah,
What committee
does that fall under operations or?
Operations, I guess.
I don't know what refers to that.
Public Works, I guess.
Actually,
Where's it pay related?
Yeah, it is.
Finance, Financial Planning, Fiscal Policy, and Human Resources Administration.
Okay. Can I see that again? Was that, you handed that out last time, right? That's, okay, I'll look at my notes.
And that's, if you guys got any questions for me?
Sorry, we,
Will you have a decision by next meeting?
We meet on the 15th, so maybe we can add that to our agenda, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Gas, Terry's not here. Street, Rodney's not here. However, what he did provide, if you will recall, the issue with the waste oil down at the street department as well as that tank, there are not places that will purchase it. There are only entities that will come and pick it up, and there's not that many around here. The closest one is Safety Clean. We got a quote from them, and based upon what we think we have, they charge $175 per stop fee, 30 cents per gallon, and then a recovery fee of 17.3% of whatever the total order would be. Based on what Rodney has here, we're looking at $570. And that includes those old drums down there. It looks like they could fall apart any minute, that were located in the street department.
So 570 total.
Yeah, he wants to spend $570 to get that oil out of here as quick as possible.
I think that, yeah, that's a good idea before we end up with a leak that's
Yeah,
gonna
we
be
need
10
an
times
EPA
that.
line.
Yeah,
So you making a motion?
I make a motion to approve Safety Clean for 570 to
Okay.
remove the oil, the old oil in our barrels and tank at the old barn.
Okay, we have a motion, a second on the floor to approve the expenditure of $570 within the street department. That can go into their maintenance budget in the amount of $570. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Building inspector's not here. Airport, Mr. Buckman, do you have anything to report?
Well, I picked a bad night to have a long one.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. Actually, everything out there is running smooth. We've had several planes through with the nice weather, and that's always good. The electric department came and replaced the incandescent bulbs in the beacon with LEDs, and they seem to be working really well so far. Rodney came out and looked at some cracks in the asphalt on the runway, just a few spots, but it's knocking out chunks, some of them pretty big. He recommended purchasing some asphalt repair from Lowe's. I went to Roby's first to see if they had it. They did not. So I went to Lowe's last night and I bought 2 bags of it at $20 a bag. And it should be enough to take care of it. Kimberly Masters from MoDOT called me today, and we got the ball rolling for this RFQ and hopefully get some grant money, take care of some things at the airport. And that's all I have.
The information that we had regarding our airport was considerable dollar value, which the upkeep and maintenance of airports typically is. Anyway, Missouri Department of Transportation has an aviation group that provides grant money for airport maintenance if you're approved, and that grant money also pays for the engineering services associated with it. So hopefully we can get that ball rolling.
Ms. Kimberly, it was very nice for her to call me. She didn't have to do that. She went above and beyond. I had talked to her last October, And she called me today and said, if you don't do something quick, you're gonna lose the 2027 money. So, she said there's just a certain amount of it out there. She felt like we could get some, but, so that's the plan.
Do we need to do anything for that at this point, or they're
No.
looking into the?
No, we will, the request for qualifications should be, it's actually a request for consultation because you have to follow FAA guidelines for even engineering services. So it's a very specialized field. The due date on that RFQ or RFS is February 13th of this year. Once we get that in, we'll go through a similar scoring process as we've done with other engineering service requests. And the board will make a selection on who the provider will be. Then we would enter into a contract with them for their services, and those services are contingent upon grant approvals. So that's the process. It'll probably start about the third, fourth week of February.
And the way I understand it, whoever that consultant would be, there are no charges unless they provide, the state provides us a grant, and then their fee would come out of the grant money. The way I
Oh, yeah,
understand
that
it.
makes sense.
Cool.
So that's good for us.
That's all I got.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Next on the agenda is Mosswood. All right, moving right along under tab 12, you'll find bills payable.
A question on the Schulte supply for roll-up vinyl signs.
That's the highway signs that Rodney bought, so we can
Oh,
work on
okay.
the highway.
Cool. And the Sunbelt Solomon, I'm guessing that's transformers or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, those both were approved by the board in separate actions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember.
I did add the payroll information in there too, it's not in your binder, but I put it with the
I'm kind of confused on the updated. So is the updated replace this one?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So this one is not. So Aflac should not be on there. Aflac was on,
It was on the first one.
yeah. But, oh, I see. Removed. Okay.
Entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills payable.
We have a motion on the floor to approve bills payable. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the bills payable. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Unfinished business. Okay, moving right along. We now need a motion to go into closed session.
Make a motion to close session.
We have a motion on the floor to go into closed session. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second on the floor to go into closed session.
Are we going in for both, 1 and 3,
Legal and.
legal and, the, hiring, firing?
Yes, to go into closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021, paragraphs 1 and 3, privileged communication between representatives and attorneys, and hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of particular employees by a public governmental body when personal information about the employee is discussed or recorded.
Both legal and personnel. Legal and personnel. 1 and 3.
Yes, 1 and 3.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all. We're getting ready to vote.
Who was the second?
Oh, I second.
Alderman Schneider,
Yes.
Alderman Simpson,
Yes.
Alderman Osborne,
Yes.
Alderman Saunders. Yes. Alderman Quinn.
Yes.